This is the story of a classic sniper who can kill his target from many kilometers away even with a blindfold over his eyes. But this sniper was once an ordinary math teacher. He used to hate war and guns. But one day something happened in his life that turned him from a decent teacher into a ruthless sniper. The story begins in a small village in Ukraine where we are shown a small house. In this house lives a couple who are spending their life happily. The man living in this house is named Mykola and his wife's name is Nastya. Nastya was a drawing artist, and she used to carve wood and make different kinds of statues. Mykola is a teacher and teaches math to children in a nearby school. He is a very good teacher and all the children are very happy with him except one, whose name was Evan. Evan was a very rude boy. He used to trouble his teacher Mykola every day in class. Evan belonged to a rich family, while Mykola was a poor man. That's why Evan used to make fun of Mykola's looks and clothes. He wanted Mykola to get so annoyed by his misbehavior that he would hit him, and then he could complain and get Mykola kicked out of school. But Mykola was a very calm person. Mykola didn't care about his words and lived happily in his own life. Because there was no electronic item like a TV in Mykola's house, he couldn't get the news of the world. One day when Mykola was at his school, he heard on TV that Russia had attacked Ukraine, in which many soldiers were killed, and Russia had taken over many areas of Ukraine. In the evening, when Mykola came home, he found out that his wife was pregnant. Hearing this made him very happy because now Mykola was going to become a father. Both of them celebrated this happiness together. The next day, Mykola said bye to his wife and left on his bicycle to teach children at school. But when he was on the way, he saw two soldiers who were lighting cigarettes and wearing a strange kind of uniform. That uniform didn't look like Ukrainian soldiers' uniforms at all, which made him feel a little strange. But Mykola thought that maybe the government had changed the soldiers' uniforms. That's why he didn't pay much attention and quickly reached his school. But when he entered the school, he saw that the whole school was empty. Not a single child had come to school. Seeing this made him feel something was wrong. Just then he saw on the TV news that Russian soldiers had entered Ukraine to take over the country, and now he realized that the soldiers he had seen on the way were actually Russians. Thinking this made him worried about his wife because she was home alone. He quickly got on his bicycle and rushed home. But now it was too late. When Mykola reached home, he saw that those two soldiers were brutally beating his wife. Mykola tried to save his wife, but those soldiers also beat him badly. Mykola begged them, "Please don't kill my wife. She's pregnant." But the soldiers didn't listen to him and kept beating both of them. After a while, one Russian soldier searched Mykola's house, and when he didn't find anything useful inside, he got angry, set the house on fire, and started to leave. Now, seeing her house burning, Nastya became furious. She picked up a stone and started hitting those Russian soldiers. Seeing this, one soldier fired a bullet, and Nastya died on the spot. Seeing his wife dying, Mykola felt the ground slip from under his feet. He went to his wife, took her in his lap, and started crying bitterly. After a few hours, two Ukrainian soldiers came to Mykola. Seeing Nikola's wife dead made both soldiers feel very sorry, and they placed a hand on Nikola's shoulder and told him not to lose courage. After that, those two soldiers started digging a grave for Nikola's wife, and when they finished, they told Mykola to bury his wife there. After his wife's death, Mykola was completely broken. Now he was totally alone. Those Russian soldiers had not only killed his wife but also destroyed his unborn child and burned his home. That's why now he was burning in the fire of revenge, and he had to kill that Russian soldier who had shot his wife no matter what. The only way to take revenge from that soldier was to join the Ukrainian soldiers. So right there, he requested those two soldiers, "Please take me with you too. I also want to join the Ukrainian army." After that, both soldiers agreed to Nikola's request and took him in a vehicle to the military base. Before leaving, Mykola took with him a small statue made by his wife, which she had made to protect him. When they reached the military base, their senior officer got angry at those two soldiers after seeing Mykola and refused to recruit Mykola into the army because the senior suspected that Mykola might be a spy. When the senior properly asked those two soldiers about Mykola's background, and Mykola himself told the whole story, how the Russian soldiers had brutally killed his wife and burned his house, he said, "Now I have no reason left to live, and I want to kill those Russian soldiers and free this country." Hearing this, the senior officer agreed to recruit Mykola into the Ukrainian army, and from the next day, his training started. Now, because Mykola was an ordinary man, he found training very difficult. He had taught math his whole life and had no knowledge about guns. When all the soldiers were assembling their guns, Mykola was quite slow compared to them and was the last to assemble his weapon. Seeing this, the officer thought Mykola would never become a good soldier. But Mykola didn't give up and focused on his training point. One night during training, Mykola told his senior not to call him by his name because his code name was Raven. Hearing this, everyone laughed, and the senior told him that a code name isn't given that easily. A soldier must do something great for the country to earn one. Mykola didn't take this negatively and worked even harder. When everyone was sleeping at night, he would still practice learning things. One day the senior announced that they were short of snipers and needed to increase the number so they could fight the Russians. He asked who among them wanted to become a sniper. Some people stood up, and Mykola was among them because he also wanted to be a sniper. Seeing Mykola, everyone laughed. The senior told him he wasn't ready to be a sniper. He couldn't even assemble and disassemble a gun properly. Mykola replied that he could become a good sniper and only needed one chance to prove himself. The senior gave him a test. "Okay, take this gun and assemble it in 20 seconds. To prove himself, Mykola blindfolded his eyes and quickly disassembled and reassembled the gun. It took him only 18 seconds. Everyone who had laughed at him was amazed by Mykola's speed. They applauded him, and the senior was impressed. Seeing his ability, the senior included him in sniper training. During training, Mykola was given an old model gun while others got modern weapons. Seeing this, Mykola asked for a modern weapon, but the senior told him he had to prove himself to earn it. Mykola had no other option, so he accepted what he was given. The senior taught everyone that a sniper must not move an inch from his position no matter the situation and must keep his target in sight. To practice this, the senior fired bullets near them, and any sniper who moved from his position was kicked out of the training. When Mykola's turn came, he did not move an inch and kept his aim steady, and thus he passed this training. In the next test, snipers were shown their target once, then their eyes were covered with a blackboard. They had to estimate and shoot their target. Some soldiers passed this test, but Mykola missed slightly and failed because his gun was very old, and it was hard to get a perfect aim with it. Everyone knew that if Mykola had been given a new gun, he would have hit the target perfectly. The next training was tougher. They had to hit their target in the light of a flare at night. When the senior released the flare, everyone tried to aim but none could hit the target. Everyone fired their shots. Mykola didn't fire. He realized that aiming directly in flare light was not possible, so instead of shooting, he estimated the target's distance using his math knowledge and took a perfect shot. Seeing this, the senior and the other soldiers were amazed. No one had completed that task before. Only Mykola did it. The senior was very impressed and gave him his desired code name, Raven. Days went by as Mykola worked hard in training, and finally the day came when the training results were to be announced. The colonel saluted Mykola and told him he had passed the test. A few days later, the colonel came to Mykola and told him to pack his things because they were going on a mission. News had come that some Russian soldiers had occupied a checkpoint, and that's where the real story would begin. Soon Mykola's team reached the location, took their positions, and readied their aim. They were about to take out the Russian soldiers when they saw a truck approaching the checkpoint. The colonel ordered his men not to shoot. The Russian soldiers stopped the truck and ordered the people inside to get out. They checked their passports and searched the whole truck, and when everything seemed fine, they allowed the people to go but kept their passports. When the people asked for their passports back, the soldiers beat them badly. Seeing this, the colonel ordered his men to fire. In one swift motion, all the snipers picked off their targets, and thus their first mission was complete. After the mission, when everyone returned to base, Mykola noticed many of his comrades were missing. He was worried and asked where they had gone. He was told his other teammates had been sent on another mission. The next day, Mykola received news that many of his comrades had been killed on that mission by a Russian sniper. That sniper's name was Siri, and he was Russia's best sniper. Days passed, and Mykola went on his next mission with his comrades. After reaching the location, they planted mines all around and took their positions. A little later, Russian soldiers arrived, and among those soldiers was Evan, the same boy who used to trouble Mykola in school. Now he had joined the Russian army. When the colonel gave the order to shoot, Mykola hesitated a little because he didn't want to kill his own student. But then Mykola set his emotions aside and shot the landmines placed there. A huge explosion occurred, killing Evan and all the Russian soldiers. After everything was under control, the colonel angrily asked Mykola what he was thinking when he gave the order to shoot. Mykola replied that one of the Russian soldiers was his student. He didn't want to kill him. The colonel explained to Mykola that he shouldn't feel sad about Evan's death because he wasn't his student but his enemy. Joining the Russian army was Evan's own choice, so Mykola shouldn't feel bad for him. After completing the mission, they all returned to their base camp. The colonel trusted Mykola completely and spent most of his time with him. He showed Mykola a picture of his family and told him that he had 3 family members. His 2 daughters didn't know that their father was a soldier. He had told them that he was a businessman, and even his wife had never told their children that he was a soldier. Mykola told the colonel his entire story, how the Russian soldiers had mercilessly killed his wife. Mykola became very emotional during this, but the colonel comforted him. The next morning, they all left for their next mission. This mission was very important because they had received news that a group of Russian soldiers was going to pass through that route. The colonel and Mykola quickly reached the location and took their positions. A little while later, they saw 2 Russian soldiers waiting for the rest of their team. Mykola noticed that one of them was the same soldier who had shot his wife, and he was exactly in Mykola's crosshairs. Mykola asked permission to shoot, but the colonel refused. Mykola was furious because that soldier had killed his wife, and he had joined the army only to take revenge. He asked again for permission to shoot, but the colonel refused once more. Unable to control his emotions any longer, Mykola fired the shot. The bullet hit the soldier and killed him instantly. But the bad thing was that now the Russian soldiers had found out their location. The colonel said, "What have you done?" The worst part was that Russia's most dangerous sniper, named Siri, was also in position and had now spotted them. The colonel knew that Siri was nearby and started searching for him, but before he could find his location, Siri shot him in the head, and the colonel died instantly. Now Mykola realized the huge mistake he had made. Because of his error, the colonel had lost his life. Mykola understood that the Russians had discovered their position. The Russian soldiers began heavy firing and bombing at Mykola's location. Seeing the situation worsen, Mykola decided to retreat. He carried the colonel's body and began moving back from his position. He soon made it out of enemy territory and returned directly to his base. Mykola was deeply saddened by the colonel's death and blamed himself for it. He swore that he would kill Siri and avenge the colonel's death. Soon Mykola got word about 2 Russian snipers, and he immediately went on his next mission. He reached his location, took aim, and soon he shot one of the snipers dead. While killing that sniper, another sniper shot Mykola in the side, but he didn't give up and somehow managed to kill the second sniper as well. Because he was badly wounded, he went to a secret base to rest and recover his body. During this time, the army major called and told Mykola that they had identified the sniper who had killed the colonel. After that, Mykola returned to his base, and the major began briefing everyone about the sniper. The major explained that the sniper's name was Siri and that he was Russia's best sniper. His aim had never missed. Siri had killed 6 of Ukraine's most capable snipers, so they should not take him lightly. The major said Siri usually filmed videos after killing Ukrainian soldiers and uploaded them to social media to demoralize the Ukrainians. He said Siri rarely changed position and hunted his enemies from a particular location. They made a plan to attack Syria's location with 2 teams. According to the plan, the first team would attack the Russian soldiers from the front, and while they were busy, the second team would ambush them from behind. Taking advantage of that chaos, Mykola would enter the building and kill Siri. After the full plan was set, they moved to the location. All the snipers took their positions and aimed. Mykola quietly entered the building and saw 2 Russian soldiers chatting inside. Mykola killed both of them without hesitation and moved deeper into the building. Then, as planned, he signaled his team, and on that signal the snipers opened fire and eliminated all the soldiers sitting there. Siri noticed that none of his men were reporting to him and felt something was wrong. He climbed to the roof to check and found another Russian sniper dead there. Realizing he was surrounded by Ukrainian soldiers, Siri called for backup, but it would take 10 minutes for reinforcements to arrive. Before he could think further, Mykola attacked him, stabbed him with a knife, and killed him. During the struggle, another sniper in the building became alert, but Mykola threw a grenade and killed that last sniper in the blast. A short time later, Siri's backup team arrived at the building, unaware that Siri was already dead. When they called out, Mykola answered and told them they were all going to die, then shot the truck driver. At that gunfire, the Russian soldiers panicked and jumped out of the trucks, not realizing they were walking into an ambush. The Ukrainian snipers opened heavy fire and picked them off one by one. A few days after this mission, Mykola went to his wife's grave because he had fulfilled the promise he made. He had killed all the people who had murdered his wife and the colonel. There he vowed to serve his country until his last breath, then he left. And with that, the film ends. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and like the video.